Now, tip number one that seniors or beginners must know when getting started with the Apple Watch is understanding what this side button does. So the side button is very similar to the side button on the iPhone. It is to turn the watch on and off. So I simply click to wake up the watch as well, but if I hold it just like on my iPhone, you'll see it pops up with the power off symbol. So I use my finger, I drag that little symbol across, and now my watch is off completely. So you might turn off the watch, for example, if you don't really use it overnight, you only use it during the day, so that allows it to save the battery, or perhaps getting on the plane, that sort of thing. So to turn the watch back on, just like my phone, I hold that side button, and eventually after a few seconds, you'll see the watch wakes back up. So that's the first important thing. Now, in addition to powering the watch on and off, the side button is also how we activate or access one of the emergency features of the watch. So a lot of seniors have been getting the watch for health and safety reasons. In particular, this would be the more recent model watches. So that would be the series 4 and up from memory. So after this watch turns back on, so as you can see, it does take a bit of time. So this is normal. If you're wondering, should it take this long? Yes, it does. Let's talk about how we actually activate the emergency feature that's built into the watch. So what I do is, if I hold that side button, besides the power off option, we actually have emergency SOS. So this is one of the ways I can access emergency services. For example, God forbid, you are in an accident, you've had a fall, that sort of thing. So I simply slide that across. I'm not going to do that now because it will actually immediately call the local emergency services number. So in Australia, that would be 000. In America, that would be 911. So that's really important. Be careful of that because it will actually call emergency services. So that's emergency SOS, a really, really useful feature in case of an emergency. Now, let's go into the second tip when it comes to getting started with a watch, and that is understanding the digital crown. So as you can see, it looks like a normal watch crown, but what it does is a little bit different. So first thing is, if I were to compare this watch to an iPhone, let me grab my iPhone. Imagine that crown is like the home button of an iPhone. So the crown allows us to get into the watch. So if I click it, wakes it up, click again, it takes me to the home screen, just like the home button does for the iPhone. If I click the crown again, it takes me back to the main watch face. So that is the key function of the digital crown. Besides pressing it, I can actually roll the crown. Now, the function of rolling the crown depends on the application that you're in terms of what it does. So if I get into an application, let's say, for example, my emails. So if, as you can see, it's got the same icon like on my iPhone, I tap it. So once I'm in that email application, I can actually use the crown to scroll up and down like so. And even if I'm inside an email, I can use the crown to scroll up and down through that email. So that's one useful tip when it comes to the crown, is the crown can be used for scrolling. I can use my finger, by the way, but sometimes if I'm using my finger, I might accidentally press something like I just did now. So the crown can be a little bit safer when it comes to navigating your watch in certain applications. For example, in text messages, you might accidentally reply. So that's where, if you only want to read, you can simply use this to scroll. So that is the second key function of the crown. There's some other things you can do, but we're just focusing on the absolute top things to get us started. So next thing that we want to understand when it comes to the watch is typically how do we actually customize this face? So when you got the watch, so this is actually a Nike version of the watch, so it's got a sporty Nike face. But even though it's a sporty watch, I can actually make this look like a dinner watch with a really beautiful or classic looking face. So this is what I can do. So if I focus on just doing it on the watch, you can do it on your phone as well. So if you're interested, I can record another video showing you the other things you can do in terms of customizing your face. But if we just stick to the watch, what I do is I press hard for a couple of seconds in the middle of my current face. And as you can see, it pops open with the watch face and the ability to edit this particular face. But let's say I don't actually like that particular face, so I can go sideways, and as you can see, it looks like that's the only one I have, but I can go, I want to add a new face. So if I press that plus, so now I can use my crown or I can use my finger to scroll through all the different options. So we've got a California sort of style with the Roman numerals. We've got more a chronograph. So as you can see, there's so many options when it comes to the face. There's a really simple one where it's just a color. So completely up to you. But let's say you want something that's really easy to read, but has some shortcuts for you to be able to open things that you like quickly. So this is quite a good one, the infograph modular, if you like Mickey Mouse. So probably the one I'm going to go with is I'm going to go with the modular. So what I do is I press add. Not only can I add the face, I can change what is on it. And this is how I do that. So at the top, it tells me what am I customizing currently. So it's telling me we are in the color section. So I use my crown to go through the options. So if it's just done this in the middle of changing the watch face, what we do is we just press it firmly again, and then we go edit, and we're able to continue editing the face. So if I roll the crown, you'll notice the color changes. So I've done this. I might sometimes change the color of my watch to match my outfit. So you can completely personalize your watch. I've also changed the watch to match the bands that I'm using. So let's say I'm going to go with a purple color, like a cherry to be exact. So then at the top, you'll see there's actually something else here. So I slide it sideways, so to the left, and now it's giving me the ability to change the individual complications or the little icons on the face itself. So at the moment, we've got weather, which I think I'm pretty happy with. We've got the date. I'm happy with that as well. So again, I want to change, I want to change these three icons at the bottom. I press again, and then I simply touch the icon I want to change. Let's say this one here. So currently it's set to mindfulness, but let's say I don't know too much about what that is and it's probably not important. So I can actually again use the crown or my finger to scroll through. So these are in alphabetical order, by the way. So let's say I would like to have messages. That's something I use a lot on my watch. So I can find messages, touch it. So now I've got a shortcut to get to messages. So let's say the second icon, I want it to be activity, to track my steps and so forth. So I've got that in the middle. And the last icon I touch, and then let's say I want that to be emails, because I might want to check my emails quickly. So I simply touch, and now I've changed that. So it will automatically save it like it's been doing throughout this lesson. But the other way you can force it to save your settings is by clicking the digital crown, and then again, and now we have changed our face. Now I mentioned these icons are shortcuts, so I want to go to messages. I don't have to find it on this screen. I can just go straight from my face and touch it, and now I'm straight in messages. Same with emails and even the dates. If I actually touch the date, it takes me into my calendar. So if I had any appointments, I might be able to see that. The calendar is something that I will cover if that's something you're interested in, where you can learn about how you can use that to not forget appointments and so on and so forth. So that is how we can set up our watch face. Now, the next very useful tip for the watch, so this is not only for seniors, but some of you may have poor eyesight, you might wear glasses, so you can actually adjust the text size for your watch. So this is what we do. So first thing is we need to go into the main screen or the home screen. So remember, that is the purpose of the crown. We click it, we're now in the home screen. So we want to look for an icon that looks like the settings icon. Remember our iPhone and the settings icon. So on the watch, it's the same idea, similar icon. So I'm going to press that icon now. So once I'm there, I want to scroll and I want to look for the display and brightness settings. So as you can see, I have text size as one of my options. So I touch it and then I can press this and this shows us how big the text will be. So if it's too big, I press the smaller A and you'll see it adjusts the text size. So you can simply adjust the text size to your liking. So how do I, where will the text be adjusted? It will be adjusted when you're looking at text messages, for example, or emails. It will depend. So if I open my emails, you'll see the heading is that size, but if the email is one of those fancy emails like this one here, it will be smaller text. So that's just the only thing to be mindful of. So that is the text size. So just to recap, we went into the settings icon and then we went into the display brightness and we went into text size and we adjusted accordingly. Now the last one is if the text size is still not big enough, there's a really cool feature which is called zoom. So this is how we find zoom. So let's just pretend we were starting from the beginning. So we want to go back to the home screen. So we click, find the settings app again, tap. So if you're somewhere where you don't want to be, like I'm in the screen that we were in earlier, you'll notice there's always a back arrow to take us back to the starting point. So I'm going to keep pressing that back button until there's no more back button. So this is basically the start of settings. So the zoom function is a setting under accessibility. So it is, again, for people who have, say, a vision impairment. So what we do is we scroll down until we see accessibility and we select it. And you'll see I have zoom. So I tap zoom. Now it actually tells me, in case I forget, how do I activate zoom? What I do is I first turn on the zoom function so it can be activated on and off. And when I want to activate it, I simply, as the screen says, double tap with 2 fingers, then rotate the digital crown to adjust your view. So I'm going to do that now. First I turn it on. So now zoom is enabled. So let's say this text is still not big enough. 2 fingers, double tap. So then I use my crown to move and adjust my view, as you can see. And then if I can also use my finger, as you can see, with 2 fingers, I can move it around. To get rid of zoom, I double tap with 2 fingers. And now it's back to normal. So again, how do I activate zoom? I have to first turn it on, and now I don't have to be there. I could be in my emails. I could open my email, and this is just way too small, so I can go double tap Now I can actually read it a bit easier in spite of how small it is. I use the crown to cycle through, or I can use my fingers as well to move the page up and down like so. I'm done reading. I go 2 fingers, tap, tap, and now it's back to normal. That does bring us to the end of today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, it really helps if you hit the like button as well as press the red subscribe button. That allows you to be alerted when we get new lessons out there for you for free. As for learning more about us, you can visit our website, which you should see on the screen very shortly, but also in the description. Finally, this is your channel, not mine or ours, so we would love to hear what you would like to actually learn. There are probably a lot of channels out there, so we would really like to tailor this channel to your needs. Other than that, thank you for listening.